Hello, and you're listening to Reviewing History, your comedy history podcast. I'm filmmaker and teacher Brian Rupert, joined here by
Stephen Badagliacco.
and
Anthony
Galati, Aunt G, yo. How you doing?
Hi.
I just got back from Disney not too long ago.
Oh, yeah?
Boy, are my arms tired.
Did you see the mouse?
I saw the mouse. I saw Mickey.
Did you get sick because you saw the mouse?
No.
You didn't have a fever?
Only in Pittsburgh did that happen. I saw the new Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster.
How was that?
That was a fucking cool ride. Like, the way they do it is...
You get excited about roller coasters?
It's fun. It was a fun ride. But
Okay.
the way the ride works is your individual cart spins. So, like, if you're doing a loop, your cart will be spinning like a 360 as you're doing the loop.
Like the teacups.
Sounds like I'm
Kind
get
of, yeah.
sick.
A lot of people get sick on it. I got sick on it the first time. But
Wait, you went on it multiple times?
I went
Yeah,
on
after you got sick?
I went on it 5 times.
You're kidding.
Did you get
No.
sick 5 times?
What's wrong with you?
Each time you go on,
What are you, a fool?
why?
Why do you keep going on roller coasters? On the same roller coaster over and over
Well,
again?
I was in Disney. Why wouldn't I go on?
I get, yeah, once.
It was fun.
Yay. And then you do it again, you get back online. Would you wait like 8 hours to get
No.
on there too?
No, I had like Fast Pass and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What's that like?
It's cool. You pay for it, and you get to cut the line and do things like that.
What if too many people get the fast pass? Then there's another line, a new line, a faster line.
Well, then there's no fast pass.
Right.
If
it's a
everybody
slow
has a
pass.
fast pass, it's just a regular pass.
They limit it by capacity,
Oh, really?
and you get like a
They run out of fast passes?
Yeah, you get like a window to come back.
Like if everybody is a VIP,
Then nobody's a VIP.
then nobody's a VIP.
You're right.
But every time you're on the ride, there's a different song, and depending on what song you get, like your ride spins differently.
Is this why you went on it 5 times?
Yes, I wanted to get.
All the
There's 6 songs. I wanted to get all 6. I got
So you
4
didn't
of the
do
6.
The whole thing. You still have to go on it more.
So you spent an
Yeah.
entire day riding the same ride over and over again?
No, I did it throughout the trip. I was in Disney 10 days.
10
Holy
days?
shit.
Yeah.
You're not like just tired of it after 2?
No.
That's a lot.
And you just keep going back to the same place?
Well, there's 5
Well, there's
parks.
5. There's 4 parks.
But only one of them has this roller coaster
Wait,
that you
5
kept going
parks?
on.
Well, when I would go to that park, I would go on the
There's
ride.
5 parks, isn't there?
4. There's 4 gates.
And what? And you,
Animal Kingdom, Magic Kingdom, Hollywood
Epcot.
Studios, Epcot, and don't they have a water park?
I don't go to the water parks. Don't count.
Oh,
I'm not
I don't know.
I'm
I
not
don't
swimming in
know,
kid
man.
urine.
Like, I don't know
I've
what you
seen
do.
South Park, Mr. Pee-Pee.
I don't know. Some people like that.
you have a kid?
Do I have a child?
Yeah.
Only the one in my heart.
Why are you going to Disney World for 10 days with no kids?
Because that's the only way it will ever be enjoyable. I don't want to go once I have kids. It won't be fun anymore.
You spend 2 days at each park, basically, and then like an extra 2 days just
Yeah.
doing nothing.
If you're going to do...
Did you ride this ride by yourself?
No.
Did your wife ride it with you?
My wife went on with me.
Did you
my
push kids
family.
out of the way to get past them in line?
Me first.
I said, I got to see Groot. And I moved them.
What were the songs you were so excited to hear?
So these are the 6 songs. The first song that got me sick was Conga.
Conga?
Come on, everybody. Won't you do that Conga?
Oh.
Yeah.
That doesn't
Selena?
sound fun.
that Selena?
No, it's Gloria Estefan.
Gloria Estefan.
That song got me sick. There's Disco Inferno.
Burn, Baby, Burn.
Yeah. September.
What? Dancing in September.
Body Ya. That's actually the lyric.
Uh-huh.
Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
Everybody wants to rule. Okay.
And these are the 2 songs I didn't get that I really wanted.
What?
Flock of Seagulls, I Ran.
Okay.
And Blondie, One Way or Another.
I'm going to find you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get
Do you think
get
that they
get you.
purposely didn't play those songs so they keep you coming back for
Wait,
more?
that's... Why did you want those specifically?
Well, every time the ride feels different depending on what song you get.
Did you have any doubles?
So the first 4 times I got a different song. And I was like, once I get a double, I'll stop going. So then the 5th time I got a double, and that was when I stopped.
Which one did you have twice?
September, which was the best song in my opinion.
Yeah, that's probably the best song out of that group. The Duran Duran one's all right.
Flock of Seagulls.
No, Everybody Wants to Rule the World. Right?
That's Air Supply.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Really?
Yeah.
Everybody wants
Nope, we're both wrong. It's Tears for Fears.
Tears for Fears. I knew it.
Yeah.
something like that.
There was a gay version,
The gay version?
Tears for Queers. I'm cutting that, but I had to say that for you.
Please leave that in.
All right.
So, speaking of amusement parks, things of amazement and wonder, let's talk about dead bodies in the water.
Oh yeah.
We are finally breaking the World War II seal.
We've tried to avoid it,
Yes.
and I think it's a testament to our willpower that we made it almost 14 episodes
I think
or more.
every single one of us, as far as historical knowledge goes, World War II is probably our strongest suit,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
right?
Yeah.
It's the thing we're most interested in. It's the biggest battle.
It's just, it's such a looming thing. You know, it's kind of like the modern foundational myth of modern society.
And I was thinking about this as I was watching this movie as to why World War II is so popular.
Well, it's recent.
Well,
it's
it's-
the biggest thing.
it's
It's the
recent.
biggest event that's ever happened in human history.
But even in movies, I think a big part of it is that there's such a clear line of good and
good guys
bad.
and bad guys,
Yeah.
sure.
And I think that helps why movies are drawn to it.
I mean, there's an endless array of World War II movies we could be watching. We just
We could
happen
do the
to
whole
pick
show just on World War II movies and like
Yeah.
never run out of stuff.
You're right.
Definitely.
from all different countries.
It also has lasting effects. I mean, the effects are still being felt today. So it's like you said, it's one of the more major things to ever happen in probably human history.
Yeah.
So
Certainly the biggest event of the last 100 years. You know, no doubt about that. So
You don't think the Mets winning the World Series?
that was big. It really had lasting impacts.
They still talk about it in Croatia. New York Mets, #1.
And then they listen to Turbo Folk.
Yeah. I love Darryl Strawberry.
So, Mincemeat. This movie I did not know existed until you told me about it.
Okay.
Where did you hear about this?
So the way I heard about it,
Is it Operation Mincemeat or just Mincemeat?
it's Operation Mincemeat.
Operation Mincemeat.
Yeah.
Did you guys know about Operation Mincemeat prior to this
I knew
movie?
about it.
No,
Yeah.
I thought we were watching a cooking show. I'm like, oh, this sounds like this is going to be right up my alley. I like cooking. It's going to be about some chef. Boy, was I wrong.
What is mincemeat?
It's a British dish. Yeah.
Is it like it's
It's
chopped
chopped
meat?
up
Yeah,
meat.
it's
Yeah,
just-
it's
yeah.
chopped up meat.
Okay.
Minced.
It's
Which you
more
can see where
horrible
the
British
confusion-
food.
More horrible British food that nobody likes.
You can
Yes.
see where the confusion comes from.
I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
interrupted you.
So I heard about this movie because I was listening to the podcast Tell 'em Steve Dave, and Q.
I'm not familiar with them.
No, you never heard of him?
No.
It's a really good podcast. Recommend checking it out. So Q on that show was talking about that he read a book about Operation Mincemeat, which is the book this movie was based on. So I heard about the book and I saw they were making the movie, and then I saw it drop to Netflix, and I kept it in my back pocket, and I was like, oh, let's do this on the show at some point. And
here we are.
here we are. What were your first impressions of the movie?
I thought the movie was excellent.
Really well done.
Yeah, it's very good. It's a it's not like an epic or anything.
It's a man on a mission movie.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, obviously it's a very I don't know if you'd call it obscure part because people know this story.
So I actually got something wrong in it. I thought mincemeat led to D-Day. I thought
No.
I thought they did this to set up the Normandy invasion.
No, that's more the subterfuge and spycraft stuff around that has a lot to do with the phony army. They faked a invasion of the Pont de Calais rather than Normandy.
Okay.
Which was like those inflatable. You've seen the footage with the inflatable tanks.
Yeah.
And they actually put Patton there, who was grounded during the D-Day invasion.
And
because he slapped the guy in Italy.
They had the wacky inflatable tube man, and the Germans were like, look at the Americans. Their arms are all crazy.
Right.
They keep waving.
There's going to be a sale at Mazda.
It's bonkers. What is this? We must slash the BMW prices now. $9.99.
But yeah, mincemeat obviously is associated with the invasion of Sicily. What did you think of the movie, Beaver?
Great. I loved this.
You loved it.
I thought I can't say a single bad thing about it.
I thought
honestly.
the I don't know if you've seen any photographs of the real people involved.
Yeah.
The casting's fantastic.
It's
look
pretty good.
They look perfect.
Yeah.
Even down to Margaret from Boardwalk Empire.
Dude, identical.
Yeah.
You know who was great though? The communist brother Ivor.
Mm-hmm. I didn't see him. I didn't see the real guy.
The other guy's a little heavier, but the glasses are like the same, and like they really look alike.
Yeah, this was excellent.
This was a really good classic style movie you don't see a lot anymore.
Yeah.
Yes, this kind of pacing doesn't go well with modern audience.
This could
But it's
only
so
be on.
great.
This could only be on streaming.
You don't think it's a big screen worthy movie?
I think it should be, but I feel like if this came out, nobody would go to see it except like me and you. We're like, dude, there's a Mincemeat movie.
Yeah. You're right. I think people go see that Darkest Hour movie from a few years ago? Because I saw it. I thought it was great.
That was pre-pandemic. People still like kind of went to movies somewhat then.
Did you see that?
I loved that movie.
You did?
Oh yeah, I've said this before. I want somebody, whether it's me or a professional, to take The Darkest Hour, and then take Dunkirk, and
Put them together?
slice it together,
And just make one giant...
giant epic because they're shot very similar.
That's interesting because
It would be great.
Dunkirk is almost documentary-like in that
Yes.
there's very few characters.
Exactly.
There's not a lot of dialogue.
That's why
in
I
it.
don't like it too much.
But if you
that's why.
this is a great idea.
Yes.
If
Yeah.
you spliced it with Darkest Hour,
It's brilliant.
it would be a brilliant epic movie.
Yeah.
Because you see the actions of Churchill and everyone else, what they're doing at home. You see the direct effects at Dunkirk.
I love this idea.
I agree.
Yeah, me and Steve have talked about this since
Spoke
they
about it,
came
yeah.
out that this needs to
And they
happen.
both kind of did they
Just
come
a
out the
lot of
same
work.
time?
They came out the same year.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
And there's
It was
a scene-
cultural consciousness stuff, you know?
There's a scene in The Darkest Hour where you see the ships going to Dunkirk.
Yeah.
And it's like you split it right there. Like there it is. Everything works.
Make one 4-hour fucking monster.
It'd be so good.
Yeah, it would be so good.
And then you could make Dunkirk sequential, and it doesn't have to be random like junk.
You didn't like Dunkirk.
It's non-linear.
I
so.
liked it, but like I respected like the visuals of it, but like there's no coherent narrative or characters you care about. It's legit.
There's a kid on the boat
Yeah.
Yeah, it's legit.
and
though.
Tom Hardy.
Yeah, it's just like random battle footage kind of put together.
Yeah, and that's almost what I liked about it.
It's very much cold in watching a documentary, and it's not what I look for in a movie.
Right.
Where like usually like in a
You like a character-driven story.
I want a character, at least one guy that I know his backstory and I'm rooting for him.
Sure.
You know, which is why I think if you intercut it with The Darkest Hours, it would be a fucking masterpiece.
So cool.
I'd be like, you make it sequential and you tie it in with that. I'd be like, this is fucking amazing.
Maybe I'll do that as a life goal. when I have
Steve
some
finishes
time.
editing it. The render is done. My work here is done. Just blows his head off.
With the amount of work that might take, I might do that. Yeah.
Gary Oldman's Churchill was better than this Churchill.
This Churchill is no Oldman.
Yeah.
He doesn't even kind of look like him.
No, he doesn't.
You know who's played a good Churchill before? Monk from Gangs of New York.
I thought it was him in this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's immediately who I thought of. It's not him, though. When was he?
I forget what I've seen him in, but he's definitely played Churchill.
I
at least
probably
once.
saw it.
If you're an overweight British man, they just make you play Churchill at some point. You get like conscripted.
So let's set this up. The year is 1943.
Yep.
Stalingrad has happened.
Yeah. Now, some people would say the war is already over at
Now
that
that's
point,
was what I wanted to ask you guys.
which I fucking hate. Because me and you kind of had a little brief conversation about something involving this the other day.
You hate that I was going to ask you this?
No.
That you hate that some people think the war was over at this point.
Like, so Roger Waters the other day basically was like,
Oh.
Americans did nothing in World War II.
Oh.
They were basically useless. The war was over after Stalingrad.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that
That's not a
assessment.
good-
but
yeah.
that was not going to be my question because the war is definitely not over.
No.
But here's my question.
Yeah.
Is the war, by this point, Africa has fallen, Stalingrad has happened, the Battle of Kursk is about to happen and it hasn't happened yet. Is the war unwinnable for the Axis powers at this point?
I don't believe so. I think they could still win.
I am going to take the opposite opinion on that.
So you think the war is over then?
No, the war's not over because they can
So you think it's a matter of just bleeding at that point?
In my opinion, the Germans can make a peace. Now, the Allied powers have agreed to unconditional surrender, but if the Germans buckle down and make it as painful as possible, I think it is possible to bleed the Allies white and force them to the negotiating table. You are not going to win the empire, the 1,000-year Reich that they wanted, but you could have some sort of peace. I think if it hurts enough. I think that's the only way forward for the Axis powers.
I think the play for them to actually win would be to try to come to some sort of deal with Stalin. They need to like make reparations to Stalin, give him like Poland and shit, and then they would be able to continue westward. And I think it would have been winnable.
I think you had no chance of winning at this point.
I think the math beats them.
Not even just
the production
math,
levels are just off the charts.
Look at the weaponry now.
Right.
America's like, we got nukes.
So many Germans have died.
Excuse me, we have atom bombs.
Not yet.
No.
But like
that movie's coming out soon. I can't fucking wait for it.
What movie?
Oppenheimer. Made by Christopher Nolan.
Like a biopic?
Yeah, about like him making the bomb. It's like black and white. I saw.
That'll be awesome.
I saw a trailer for it the other day in theaters, and I didn't know it was coming.
Mm-hmm.
And the trailer's just a giant explosion and like quotes of Oppenheimer, and then like pictures of him. And I was like, "This is fucking awesome."
Oh yeah, we gotta watch
that thing where he's quoting the Epic of Gilgamesh.
I
become death, the destroyer of worlds.
But anyway, back to what I was saying. I wasn't saying that the nuclear bomb was a deterrent at that point, but like eventually we get atom bombs before anyone else.
Sure,
we use them before anyone else.
Yes,
we will threaten Germany before anyone else if it comes down.
If it comes
to
to that, but
so
obviously, history
realistically,
it doesn't.
It doesn't. But if let's assume that, like you're saying, like you got to let them bleed out. The war's not over. No, that war was going to end. That war was going to end.
My
another
point
year.
bringing that up.
Hold on, wait. Can I say one thing? I have to, no matter what numbers or anything, I have to say that America is basically super responsible for victory. And that I don't care about Stalingrad or anything. The war was unwinnable until we are just whooping ass fully.
But that wasn't the question. Wasn't the question
stupid take?
Yeah,
I don't care. Fucking, I'm pro America always.
But my point in bringing all this up was, I think the fact that what I said was the only way forward for the Axis would be to make it hurt as much as possible is why this mincemeat operation is so important. Because in saving so many lives, they've doomed the Nazis to defeat at this point.
Well, they're in Europe,
They've
right?
punctured the soft underbelly, what Churchill called the soft underbelly, which was, of course, Italy and Mussolini and all that. So once the Italians are out, which happens immediately after the fall of Sicily, the Germans now are way too overextended to even defend themselves, and which makes Overlord possible and the end game of 1945. So, that being said, I think we can start the movie.
Okay. So we get some opening narration, and we see just random shots of like the ocean and like a war room, people smoking cigarettes, a typewriter.
Colonel Tavington.
Yeah.
He's returned.
He's back. Second appearance. We need like a counter for guys who have been in like the most movies on this.
Jason Isaacs, number 2.
Is he the first guy to double dip for us?
For us?
So far?
He might be.
I think he is.
That's surprising, because we've done a bunch of movies at this
There's
point.
probably some random British guy who's in like 8 movies we've done and we don't even remember him. So then it flashes back to 6 months earlier. Colin Firth is reading a bedtime story to his child, and it is the 39 Steps. Do you know what that is?
No.
It is 39 Steps is a like, I'm pretty sure it's like a spy style story. Alfred Hitchcock has adapted it twice. He made it a silent film, and then he made a talkie version as well, I believe.
Talkie.
Yeah.
The talkies.
Colin Firth compliments his wife, talking about, how great she is and all this, how much he loves her.
Right. She doesn't like him.
No.
We don't know why.
Maybe he just didn't like her mincemeat. I don't know.
He plays around and stuff.
Does he?
Ewan Montague, he's a bit of a player, and he was always out working a lot and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he had problems with his wife at this time too.
Aha.
Yeah. The other guy, his name, mustache guy. Do you remember his name?
His name is Charles Cholmody. Oh, Colmody.
He likes to spell out his last name.
Yeah, it's a mouthful.
He did it in the movie, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I can't pronounce
Colmody.
it. Colmody. So he goes to watch a movie, Confessions of a Nazi Spy, and he meets Margaret Schroeder from
Boardwalk Empire.
She has escaped Nucky, and
She's not slowing the show down anymore.
Yeah.
You love Boardwalk, right?
I love Boardwalk Empire.
I think I like it better than The Sopranos.
Oh, that's a
That's a
hot
hot
take.
take.
That is
I never watched The Sopranos, so I would have
That
to
is
say I like
tough.
Boardwalk more.
that is tough.
It's one of the few shows I watched every episode for.
You've watched Boardwalk, right, Steve?
I've watched Boardwalk. I like Boardwalk a lot, but to say it's better than The Sopranos
Boardwalk is
tough.
ballsier.
Is
Really?
it? Is it though? Because think
Here's
about the
wh-
time period.
Yeah, think about when Sopranos came out.
Here's why. Well, I'm talking from a storytelling perspective because they killed off the most popular character in the second season.
Jimmy Darmody.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. They did do that.
And
Sopranos kill off.
Sopranos
a lot
killed
of
off some plenty of
popular
characters,
people,
but
though.
did they kill off
Yes, main characters?
who's the most popular character?
Adriana.
Other than
Adriana
Tony?
Lacerva, when she got killed, it was
was
shocking
brutal.
to the world.
Yes.
What season was that?
Towards the end. It's like 5.
Show's ending. This is the second season of the show.
Yeah.
Of Boardwalk.
But
It's
shows
still very
also-
new.
Shows also at the time that Boardwalk came out were being
Yeah, I mean,
produced nonstop, like season or two. And
I think they called
canceled.
out the golden age of television, right?
Yes, the new golden age.
Mm-hmm.
But Kelly MacDonald is there. She's a great actress. You love anytime she pops up
Oh,
in
yeah.
something.
She's good. She's very good.
Beautiful lady.
So we find out that Ewan Montague, is that the last name?
Yes.
He is Jewish and his wife is Jewish, and they are fleeing the area in case the
I think
Germans
just his wife
get
is.
in.
I don't know if he is.
Just his
I
wife
looked it
and
up.
kids.
He is Jewish.
He is?
No, but just his wife and kids are fleeing.
They're
Yeah.
fleeing. He's staying behind.
staying.
He's going to serve.
They're going to America.
Ewan Montague is Jewish, and after the war, he ran a bunch of synagogues and things like that in England.
Now, I'm just speculating here, but the fact that she's leaving now seems like it's more related to that she doesn't like her husband than they're fleeing the Germans, because by this point in the war, invasion of Britain is off the table. It's not happening. So
Sea Lion has failed.
it has failed. The Battle of Britain put the kibosh on that, and that was 2 years before this, 3 years before this. So it's like,
It's an excuse.
what are you running from?
It's an excuse.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which comes into play later. They explain it in detail later.
Right.
That there are marital problems.
Yeah.
and it makes more sense.
Wouldn't you agree with that assessment?
I think it's both. Especially in the movie
Mm-hmm.
where they want to paint it like you guys are saying that the war is basically unwinnable now, so the Brits basically won.
The Brits didn't win.
You're
It's just-
saying-
it's
I'm not
unwinnable
saying
for
the
Germany.
war is not like I said. There are ways to win the war, but it is going to be bloody and it's going to be horrific. They're not going to win by some great offensive tactical action, which is what they want.
Yeah.
It's not 1942 anymore. It's 1943.
Well, I'm talking more about the Germans, right? You saying
That's what I'm talking about.
Us.
The British, obviously the British they're nothing without the Americans by this point. The Americans are taking over more and more of the operations,
Yeah.
the heavy lifting, so to
The
speak.
front runners. By the way, how lucky are the Germans that we're still dealing in the Pacific? Imagine if we just threw our full force into friggin' Europe and we didn't have to worry about the Japanese.
It'd be a very different war.
Yeah.
And that goes to the Europe was getting way more attention than the Pacific was. I think that the numbers are 1/3 of the American military force was in the Pacific and 2/3 were in Europe, something like that.
Where would you rather have been?
What if I'm fighting?
Yeah.
Europe, 100%.
Europe.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to be in the jungle.
That's hell on earth.
Yeah. Africa's fallen by this point too. I don't know if we said it.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did.
It's just like they expressly say it in the movie. Like anybody looking at a map can see the next step is Sicily.
Oh, yeah. They're
You know-
we got to go to Sicily. It's clear.
Right.
They're we must divert the Nazis.
Right. The whole point of this, if anybody doesn't know, is to try and get the Germans to believe by hook or by crook, that invasion is happening in Greece and Sardinia and not on Sicily. So they're doing everything in their power to do that. And all kinds of fake radio traffic is being put out there and weird movements to try and convince the Germans that what's happening isn't happening.
And, they're like, look, we're going to go for Greece. Olivia Newton-John is there. Right. John Travolta.
She's dead.
They're singing songs. She just died.
She just died yesterday.
R.I.P. Olivia Newton-John.
Yesterday for us.
Several weeks ago.
Yeah, they're all about going to Greece, They're going to sing songs, Grease Lightning.
Grease Lightning! I've never seen that movie.
Really?
You don't
Not
have
once.
to.
It's garbage, right?
It's garbage.
It's a musical. It is what it is.
Do you like musicals?
No, I'm not gay.
Do you like La La Land?
That movie's delightful. Olivia Newton-John at the end, though, smoking the cigarette is so hot.
Is she?
She's gorgeous. You never seen it?
I've never seen it.
You don't think she's good looking at the end smoking a cigarette? You're out of your fucking
very skinny.
mind.
No,
skinny
she's like
girl.
she goes from like goody two shoes to. I think she was better with the goody two shoes look than the badass curly hair look. She looks like.
I always like goody two shoes
Yeah,
over
it's
that
better.
shit.
Yeah.
It's she's just in this tight outfit. Oof, it's good.
I like Singing in the Rain. Does that make me gay?
Yes.
No.
I need a verdict. I mean,
Well, I got to
50-50
defer
here.
to.
It's 50-50
yes.
here. So yeah, you should defer to that. I like the Book of Mormon play. It's a musical.
that's gay.
It's fantastic and funny.
That's good because it's the South Park guys.
It's satire though.
It's not a movie.
Not
It's
yet.
literal Broadway.
It's a musical.
It's
They
literal
sing.
Broadway. You're gay.
They sing.
We're all gonna go see the Back to the Future play together, right?
So he said like, yeah, I'm not gay. I don't like musicals, but he likes a musical. He likes La La Land.
He was kidding.
You're gay.
I'm not kidding. I like Singing in the
You
Rain. I
like
think
Singing
it's
in the Rain,
great.
so you're gay.
Yeah.
And I like a Broadway musical, so I'm gay.
Yes.
So we're all three of us are gay.
That's the Chicago way.
That's the
Callback. Callback.
Callback.
That's the callback noise.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
So we see Jason Isaacs there,
Yes.
who now you're rooting for.
Yeah, he's
Still
good.
an asshole.
He's a good guy now.
but he's still an asshole. And Ian Fleming is there, and
He plays John Godfrey, who is the man responsible for something called the Trout Memo, which
Yes.
was written in 1939.
but
Gilbert Gottfried's
possibly
brother.
written.
it's
by his
basically
assistant.
confirmed that Ian Fleming wrote it.
Right.
Historians have read the document, compared it to Fleming's writings. It's confirmed basically that Ian Fleming wrote
And
the
John
Trout
Godfrey
Memo.
took the credit.
And
for
Godfrey took the credit because he was his superior.
it. Right.
And Ian,
What is the Trout Memo?
the Trout Memo? Is a memo with a bunch of different tactics and ways that the British can
Do
use
subterfuge, right.
to divert the Germans' attention away from Sicily.
Whatever.
From anything.
Yeah.
And option 28, Ian Fleming borrowed from a book called The Milliner's Hat.
Yes.
And it is Operation Mincemeat. They want to the original plan, which
Trojan
gets
Horse.
altered. It's called Operation Trojan Horse. Is to, very subtle name. They'll never figure
They
it out.
have the worst code names.
So the original plan is to get an airman and drop him out of a plane
Right.
into the ocean,
A dead guy.
a dead
corpse.
guy, a corpse, and use the airman and the parachute to get caught and do the plan.
And have fake documents planted on it.
Exactly. Now, obviously, this gets tweaked as we see in the movie.
Because there's so many things that can go wrong with that.
There's a lot.
Plus, it doesn't make sense that a paratrooper would have high-level documents of that kind on him. So it's completely unbelievable, you know? So what they eventually end up doing, what they discuss and decide this is the plan, is they're going to plant a dead body by submarine. He will be a Royal Marine
Yep.
because they don't want like a high-level Navy guy because then you need like custom-tailored uniforms and things like that. A Royal Marine can have the normal battle dress. So it's just, standard
Yeah.
uniform. And could be having some level of high-end letters and documentation on them that they'd be transporting. There's one thing I wanted to say about this. Can't remember. Don't worry about it. I can move on. Okay. Oh, the guy, the character they eventually come up with is a man named William Martin, who does not exist.
Benjamin
And he is a master of amphibious warfare. At least the character.
When
that
they
create.
when they wanted to name him Martin, Jason Isaacs was actually terrified. He's coming for me.
Mel.
He's getting his revenge again. In a past life, I killed his sons.
His sons were better men.
So one thing with Ian Fleming, a couple of things about his wartime record. Obviously, the Trout memo. He also did Operation Goldeneye, which was a plan that...
This is real?
This is real. It was a plan that the British would have a giant laser come down and shoot anywhere in the world.
Siberian bases.
Yeah. No, there was an Operation Goldeneye, though. That's no joke. That was the name of the intelligence framework in Spain that Fleming oversaw.
Oh, really?
And that was the network, Goldeneye.
Is Goldeneye the movie? Is that something he wrote?
He didn't write Goldeneye. Goldeneye...
Because that's too late, right? That's the 90s.
Yeah, Goldeneye was the name of his estate in Jamaica. Like, his home in Jamaica was called Goldeneye.
Ian Fleming wrote James Bond.
He wrote the James Bond novels, which is obviously, he's someone that I love.
Right.
Because he created something that I consume all the time. But he did Operation Goldeneye, which was the Spain network, and they wanted to use Gibraltar to launch sabotage operations against the Nazis. He also formed the 30 Assault Unit, known as the 30 Commando Unit, which was specialist intelligence troops that he was in charge of and would deploy and go in the field, and they would like
recon stuff.
They would like do combat, safe cracking, lock picking. They were like a spy commando unit.
That's awesome.
Now, there's a great miniseries that BBC made years ago called The Man Who Would Be Bond. And it follows Fleming's life, and they touch on his war service, and they talk about Operation Mincemeat a little, and how he came up with a bunch of plans that were used, and he really didn't get credit for because, you know, he's a nobody. He's serving under someone. But supposedly, he was going to be a commando unit, and they wanted him to kill someone in cold blood, and he was unable to, which is why when he writes Bond, who is a idealized version of himself, Bond is capable of killing in cold blood, and it doesn't bother him. So Fleming had the 30 Assault Unit, which, you know, did a whole bunch of stuff, and then
That's later.
Later on, yeah. And then he also had another unit after the success of the 30 Assault Unit called T-Force. And it was tea time, and they did a whole bunch of, like, epic shit, too.
T-Force is in, like, T-E-A?
T.
Or just the letter
time?
T-Force?
T-Force. Yeah.
Okay.
And they did a whole bunch of shit, like securing documents, you know, combat, and he operated these three big things. This is his main contribution
The movie
to
makes
the war.
makes a big to do about the two different wars happening, and and by that they mean the the war of bullets and artillery and bombs, and the war of
Cloak and dagger.
Shadow War.
right. And
Which I guess is any war, right? You have spy shit going on.
since the beginning of time. In this particular conflict, it really reaches a level that I don't think has been seen before or since. Maybe since.
Definitely since.
You know, the
Yeah.
Cold
Definitely
War is a
since.
war of spies, right?
Yeah.
I think there's just enough technology to make spying efficient, and there's not enough to counter it yet. You know what I mean? Like right now, if like you're a spy, like you're being tracked on satellite constantly. There's cameras
most
everywhere.
things are done online.
Exactly. It's like it's
We have
much harder
drones.
now.
Yeah.
Drones
to,
exist.
like to sneak around.
Right.
But I think Churchill in this movie had a great line about the spy corkscrew. They have so many spies, and you keep turning that corkscrew that eventually hit your own ass when you're running.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great,
That was
great
a
little
cool scene.
addition.
So anyway, back to the movie.
Chomley.
They get their mission. Montague and Chomley, and they're going to put this whole thing together.
And Fleming is supporting them, and he's like, "I want you guys."
He's in the background. He really doesn't have anything to do in this movie.
In the initial conversation with them,
Right.
He's like, "I want you guys to do this," basically because it was my idea.
Right.
And M, your first Bond reference, he calls Godfrey M.
Yes.
And they're like,
is that true? It must be.
I guess. I mean, he calls him M in the book, and M is based on him.
Right.
So I'm sure it's true. And he's like, M, is like a pain in the ass. I want you to do this and get this done so I get credit. And that's your first Bond reference. Don't worry, there's more coming.
Yes.
So now they got to look for the right corpse.
And I just want to point out, they keep mentioning Bletchley Park, and every time they do that, what that is they're talking about the Enigma code breakers.
Yes.
They've cracked the German Enigma code, which is all their military code, so they're listening to everything the Germans say to each other over the radio and reading all their messages. So every time they talk about, getting information from Bletchley Park, that's what they're talking about.
So since you brought up the Enigma codes, I'll bring up a failed Ian Fleming plan that he had called Operation Ruthless.
What is that?
So this was the plan they had to possibly get, I guess, a German code machine that they would use. Mm-hmm. The original plan was to obtain a Nazi bomber, man it with a German-speaking crew in Luftwaffe uniforms, crash it into the English Channel. The crew would then attack their German rescuers and bring their boat and Enigma machine back to England. Alan Turing was very annoyed that they did not do this.
Who's Alan Turing?
He's the one who actually cracked the Enigma code.
He came up with the Enigma.
Technically,
They didn't do this?
The man who basically invented modern computing.
They did not do this because basically they were like, it's not going to work.
Because any German plane would be known to the Germans.
Not only that, but they're like, if we crash a bomber into the English Channel, it's going to sink too rapidly
For anyone to say.
for anyone to be saved.
Yeah.
So they didn't do this.
Especially a German crew.
Yeah. But Alan Turing really wanted them to do it because I guess he's like, just fucking try and get us an Enigma
Alan was
machine.
also a crazy person. Like, he was a kind of a lunatic.
He's an eccentric dude. He was gay, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
he was gay.
yeah.
You can't be like that smart, I think, without having something wrong with you.
You mean gay?
No, not gay. Just
On the spectrum.
like a weird eccentric guy, you know? I think there's like a line you cross with intelligence and then you just become too fucking weird. Thankfully, we're all idiots at this table, so we haven't crossed the line. So they go on the corpse hunt.
Yeah. This was cool. They're just looking at dead bodies.
Yeah, and Darby Case, I guess, is the physician that they're talking to.
Oh, is that the guy in the morgue?
I think that's his name.
They convinced this guy in the morgue to hold on to this body for them of a guy named
Glendor Michael.
Glindwer Michael, who's a Welsh, vagrant who people don't know if he was starving to death, so he ate some bread, or if it was an attempted suicide. Well,
They do an
successful attempted suicide.
it's debated.
He ate bread laced with rat poison. And I guess when you eat rat poison, it fills your lungs with fluid because this guy needs to be able to pass as a drowning victim.
I think they're counting on him being waterlogged.
Yeah, they were counting on him being waterlogged, and they were also counting on
a
the fact that
shitty
a shitty
Coroner
is going to be in
Spain.
this small town in Spain, which later on, that
So
ain't the case.
if you were gonna die
Yeah.
and your corpse was gonna be like puppeted around by your like government to win some Nazi like style invasion thing, like it's like a World War III all hell is broken loose thing, would you want them to use your corpse if it could save like tens of thousands of lives?
Would you want them, or would you be okay?
I mean, I'd prefer they didn't. but-
Yeah, like
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It would bother you? You're dead. What do you care? I'm asking you. Why would you care?
I mean, I'd prefer my remains to, be, go
safe.
my loved ones could have a place, maybe go visit me. I don't know.
You wouldn't rather save the lives of...
I mean, if it happens, it happens. I mean, what am I going to do? Use somebody else. Use
It's
Brian.
got to be you.
Use Brian.
It's got to be it.
It's got to be you. You're the guy.
Well, what do you want me to say? All right, fine. Do it.
It's so noble. He barely had to be coaxed. Unfortunately, it was a weekend at Bernie like scenario, and now they are parading your body around a beach town,
Right.
to distract the Germans with hilarity, with just hijinks. And there's gonna be voodoo men who make your corpse dance to music.
Like Mexican sugar dancing.
Yes. All right, well, that makes sense. Sure. I wear sunglasses.
How similar do you think this movie is to Weekend at Bernie's? You have two men trying to parade around a corpse for their own gain.
True.
But they're
This
not
is
trying-
basically a Weekend at
It's
Bernie's.
Weekend at Bernie's too.
Three.
They're not trying to convince anyone that he's alive.
It's a
Ah,
it's a
yeah, I
gene
guess so.
pick. I'm Gene.
Did I tell you I met Donna Chang from Seinfeld?
You didn't tell me. I saw it on the internet.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was fine. It was really like, what do you
Used to be
say?
Changstein.
Yeah. What do you say to Donna Chang? Like,
You're
hi.
not Chinese. That's how could you say anything else?
Yeah. But as I'm waiting online, everybody is saying it to her. And I thought about saying it.
She probably hears that every single day.
No, because she doesn't look like herself. You don't know. You know what I mean? It's like she doesn't look like she did 30 years ago on a random Seinfeld episode. But it was cool meeting her. You know, got my picture with her.
Sure. So they
find the body.
They find the
They
body.
say they have to keep him in the coldest ice box for 3 months. After the 3-month time period's up, you can't use the body anymore.
So-
It's not like they can embalm him.
So there's a ticking clock.
It's a ticking clock.
right.
You know, you need that for your plot
Which
sometimes.
3
to
months
move
seems like a
things.
long time to hold on to a decomposing body,
Yeah.
like successfully.
I'm surprised at how long it kept.
Yeah.
So then they go to the Gargoyle Club, which is actually what I call this room when the three of us are in it.
Yes.
It's like fucking Hunchback in Notre Dame. In
It's
here.
all. There's just 3 awful people.
Yeah. Made of stone.
They drink martinis.
Yeah, that's another Bond reference.
Yeah.
Gotta have some martinis.
Is this before or after they recruit the girl?
They're about to.
Now, in my research, I saw no indication that she was as big a part of this as they make her out to be in the movie.
She was not.
What do you think?
They play that up
Right.
because the whole love story, love
It's
triangle
all
thing.
fake. Yeah.
That's like all bullshit.
Yeah.
It was like they were like, it was the two guys like, I think she's hot.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's hot.
Was she Pam? Was it her photo? I don't think so.
It was her photo.
It was?
Yeah. And she was.
I saw the real photo. It's
yeah.
exact.
She
as
was
the one in the movie.
She was 18 or 19.
Mm-hmm.
She was not, like a 40-year-old
Right.
divorcee.
Right.
She was a
Widower.
young widower. She was a young woman.
Not widower.
Widower's a man, right?
Yeah, widow's a man.
It's a man, baby.
Austin, that's my mother.
Basil.
Even though that love
Expedition.
story is fake, it's a good touch to the movie. It actually keeps people a little more
it's
interested.
fine.
You know?
I have no problem with it. It's just
a Hollywood
fiction.
thing, yeah.
It's just fiction.
So they go to her.
But how much do we really know if it's fiction or not? How much can we really say about that?
It's an invented story.
Yeah. It's,
Well, I thought this was based on a book, which was based on a true story. So,
well, they embellish that for the movie. You know,
Yeah.
I'm sure the book is quite dry.
Yes.
oh,
You know, I'm sure there's a lot of facts and
what if,
figures.
I don't know, people in the same room together? You never know. Look at us.
Well, I mean, we're the Gargoyle Club.
So the next hour of the movie is really just them coming up with the backstory of this character.
Not only that, but they get problems that they solve along the way.
yeah.
Yes.
So, like, Kelly McDonald gives them the photograph. They try to take photos of the corpse.
They're
They need
messing
a
up.
double.
Yeah, right.
And the handsome American comes in.
He wasn't American in real life. He was a British guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And they say marrying an American is fashionable now.
Yeah, that made me think of my own family
I was going to ask
history.
you that. Yeah.
There's a scene where they're walking by like a dance club and they go in and they're dancing and stuff.
There's like
And-
American flags around.
yeah,
right?
well, the Americans are in town, and like all the American soldiers are dancing with British girls, and that is essentially what happened in my family history. So yeah,
Girl walks in, guy just grabs you and starts
So
dancing.
you think your grandmother was just hopping on a trend?
I mean, that's what happened. There were tons of war brides, and all over the country. England was depopulated of its women.
The Yanks just came and were like,
Yeah.
I'm taking this one to Texas.
This actually caused riots in Australia. Do you know that?
Wait, they were mad Americans were taking British women?
No. They were taking Australian women in Australia.
Oh, I want to hear about this. I didn't hear.
Oh yeah, this was a major thing. Like
Crikey, it's taking my mate.
in like the weeks after Guadalcanal, a lot of the Americans were sent to Australia on relief and like for resupply and retraining and everything. And while they were there, they had more money than all the Australians, and were just getting in like. They were banging all the girls and getting in fights with the locals, and it caused like a racial incident.
Like an American.
Americans versus Australians.
Okay.
Not racial was
Well,
probably the wrong thing
national.
to say.
National.
National.
Yeah.
incident.
Like they had men died.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Like, not many, but a
Like
few.
there was actual like gunfire and fighting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow, I never heard that. So the Americans are just trying to bang
Everything.
they can.
Everywhere they go.
If we liberate you, we're fucking your women.
Not even liberating.
Not even liberating.
Yeah.
So if we're hanging out.
That's the American way. The Chicago way is the gay way. The American way
Everything
is
goes.
just everything. So is that how your mother met your...
My grandmother met not my grandfather, but his brother. I have a weird family history. There's no incest, I promise. But
Sure.
We know. If there's one thing I
That's
learned
why
on
Ed
this
has
show.
3 arms.
Wait, you're English, right?
Partially.
Oh.
Yes. My grandmother met her first husband, who is my grandfather's brother, because he was stationed in Britain during the war, and they had this kind of whirlwind romance as young people were about to die.
Is she of Italian descent, or she's
No.
just like an Anglo wasp?
She's British.
Okay.
Was British.
Well, yeah.
As a kid, I heard tons of stories about the war and like the Blitz. And she wasn't from London; she was from the Midlands, in a town outside Birmingham.
Do you know the name?
Warsaw. It's actually the same town that Ozzy Osbourne and Rob Halford are from.
And you told me once she was their original drummer.
Yes, she was
grandma.
Judas Priest drummer in the 80s.
She was hell bent for leather.
She actually told me an interesting story once about this sort of thing. They would hold these dances in like the town. And they were because it was the British, they don't know any better as far as like American cultural problems. So they would have these integrated dances where blacks and whites would be together, and a lot of the Southern American soldiers would have a problem. There were fights and stuff. So the British girls, they didn't want to see them dance with black guys. So they had like a fight.
The American soldiers would fight.
Would fight each other.
Yeah.
The blacks and the whites. And they had to split them up. The British town had to like be like, what the fuck is happening? You guys are on the same team.
Yeah.
And they eventually had to make separate dances for them.
Some American soldier. The only thing I hate more than a Nazi is a black guy.
Yeah.
And he just has to
The
stop
black guy
fighting
sitting
him.
right next to him. Like, why are you gonna say
It's
that?
very unfortunate, certain aspects of our past.
But
yeah, she used to have tons of stories about like bombs being dropped on the city. Her and her sisters had to go around like when the Germans would drop fire bombs. So after the raid, they'd have to go out and inspect the town to make sure nothing was on fire.
and if it was, put it out.
Yeah. Wow. Sound the alarms, things like
crazy.
that. I thought one of the cooler stories was she said on Christmas, it must have been like 1940 or 41. There was a raid. They were on watch, her and her sister, and it was Christmas Day, and they
shot down a man
They
in a
broke
sleigh.
into the school, the 2 girls.
Okay.
Because it was the one place in town that had a record player. And they were just listening to records all night instead of doing their job.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. It's a good thing that they weren't bombed on Christmas.
No, they were. That's the funniest part about it.
Everybody died but them. They were the only survivors.
Yeah.
She hit me once because I was wearing a Slayer shirt.
Oh yeah.
That
That was years ago. Yeah, Beaver was wearing a Slayer shirt that had like the Slayer eagle thing,
eagle on
and it looks like a German thing.
She started hitting
and she's
me.
like, "What the hell is that?" And she
Why are
smacked.
you in this house? And starts hitting me. I'm like, what did I do?
Didn't she hate one of our friends that's of German descent?
She didn't hate him, but she did not like that he had a German last name. She held a grudge against the Germans and the Japanese her entire life. One time we brought a Japanese guy in the house. It was our friend's friend from Japan, and she pulled me aside while he was there and was like, "What the fuck is this guy doing here?" She was mad. I mean, they killed her brother. They killed her father died of injuries sustained during the First World War. Her cousin was killed in fighting in Burma, I think.
She has a lot of reason to hate
Jay
people.
Peterman went to Burma. That's where he found the milk of the poppy.
That's right. Yes. Are you an assassin?
So there's a reoccurring theme in this film that I think maybe you have a little more insight in.
Oh.
But they're surrounded by writers.
I think that was just about James Bond.
You think so?
Yeah, it's just Ian Fleming
No,
shit.
so I think that is Fleming shit, but I think it's also the movie is about storytelling and crafting a story.
That's an interesting take.
and being a creative. And that's why there's all these writers and typing all the time, and everyone's coming up with these stories and the elaborate backstory and this legend of Mincemeat. And it's all about crafting a story and like the lengths they're going to. It's almost like a Nathan For You thing. Where it's like I wanted to convince the business of this. So it's like there's
Snowballs.
so like there's a Nathan For You that's brilliant, and it's about him going on Jimmy Kimmel and doing like an anecdote, right? And have you ever seen this one?
I'm not sure.
And he goes through these lengths to come up with the story of his anecdote, but he makes sure everything really happens. So like he gets someone's ashes, like, and he has someone like he has a cop pull him over, and he arranges all these things so he can tell this elaborate story and have it be true. And like it's brilliant, and it just keeps spiraling. And that's what this is. They're coming up with this elaborate backstory for
And
this
they're
guy.
making proof of it.
Exactly.
Like with all the notes.
And that's why
what do
there's-
they call it? Pocket litter?
Yeah,
Yes,
pocket
yeah.
litter. And that's why there's all the writing and stuff. But anyway, we go to early March. Godfrey is there. He's written like M from the books. His office looks like Bond in the movie, almost down to the door.
Yeah.
The only thing it's missing is like the red quilted like door stuff. Do you know what a red quilted door is?
No.
It's like padding on a door.
Why?
That's just how Fleming wrote The Office and like.
Have
how
you
they
read
did it in the
those
movie.
books?
I read all the Flemings. Yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. Wow, you really are a fan.
A couple of years ago.
How many are there?
You don't say.
That Fleming wrote himself.
Yeah.
I think he wrote 12 full novels, and then there's like short stories.
And none of them were in World War
I
II,
read
right? It's just
No, it's all like it all takes place in 50s.
12
But
novels.
like there's a lot of fallout from the war in them. Like Moonraker is about a German Nazi who's been posing as a British industrialist. Who
that's the
like,
one where they go to the moon and have sex.
well, that happens in the movie. The
Right.
movie is so different than the book.
Oh, really?
In Moonraker, the book, it's a German Nazi who like posed as a British like industrialist, and the Soviets help him, and he gets a V2 rocket, and he keeps telling the Brits, I'm going to launch this rocket up into space, and like we're going to be like the first nation to have like space.
It's a V2? That can't
No,
go
it's
to
not.
space.
It's not a V2. It's like, you know, a modernized rocket that's going to go to space.
Oh.
And it's going to be the first rocket in space.
I see.
And it's actually a rocket that's going to blow up England.
Oh,
with
no.
like a nuclear bomb. And Bond obviously, you know, has to
He
stop
saves the
it.
day.
He punches it with his fist,
Yeah.
like Turk February.
Now that's a very obscure reference. But, you know, there's another Bond reference with the office looking like that. And then the woman, the sister of Gwendolyn Michael shows up.
Yeah. I don't
And
know if that really happened.
that did not happen. That was
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah,
That was made up for the movie.
There's the movie's pretty spot on with like minor things like that don't really matter, but it really goes off the rail at the end.
I think they're trying to get emotional stuff to happen.
Uh-huh.
And they're trying to pad it because it is kind of a thin story.
Yeah, it's kind of a quick little thing. Yeah, they do the operation and it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they pad in these emotional moments like
Right.
the love story and stuff like that.
The man jerking off a Spanish officer.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about that.
So fucking creepy.
so
So creepy, but brilliant.
so that scene obviously didn't happen with the sister. She
Right.
never showed up. You know, no one came to claim him. But now we get to Godfrey suspects Colin Firth's brother of being a communist,
Yeah.
which is true. He was a communist. And he was a communist spy post-war.
Was he really?
Wow.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
And the other thing about him is he was like one of the greatest ping pong players in the world.
And he had a cheese-eating society.
Yeah, that was like a joke, but he was like an actual spy. He was recruited by Soviet intelligence.
And we've talked about
In
Soviet
1940.
spies before on the show. They pop off fairly often, actually.
Yeah, they were probably, in my opinion, the most successful spies of that time.
100%. Probably ever. I mean, this Mincemeat is probably the greatest.
British allied spy.
Not even that. Just act of deception ever.
They say that at the end of the movie.
Yeah, that's the sad.
It is. Like what comes close, you know?
In modern times, I don't think anything. Like if you go back in history, maybe like you could argue some stuff, but this is
I can't think of anything.
the amount of variables that could have went wrong that didn't is shocking.
Right.
Like that,
And in
body
fact, they
could-
do go wrong to some extent because when the body lands in Spain, it's picked up by fishermen on the beach. They give
Which
it to
was the plan.
Right. They give it to the Spanish police, but the Spanish police immediately want to turn it over to the British, and which is, of course, what they don't want to happen. They want the Germans to get their hands on it.
they knew that the Spanish police was corrupted by the Nazis, and that
Spain, of course, is a fascist country at this point.
they gutted out the police, and like we replaced them because they were Nazis, and that plan went to shit immediately.
Right. And it's only after the British officers on the ground in Spain protest taking it, they wanted to go through official channels, so it has to go to Madrid and then be out of their hands for a little while so that the Germans have enough time to get their hands on the thing, that the plan finally happens.
But just landing on that beach alone, just the body landing on the beach alone,
Well, getting the body to
is
that
insane.
point.
Right.
I mean, we're cutting out so much of the
it's
movie.
insane.
It's not really important.
There's not much happening.
Yeah, there's not. It's all love story at that point.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's like putting the body in the capsule. They try to bribe
they put it
the
in the capsule.
sister.
They put it on the submarine.
Right.
But that guy was a real race car driver.
Oh, the Scottish guy.
The Scottish guy.
Yeah, they have a Scottish guy drive from, I guess, London all
Oh, and
the
that's
way
why
up
he's
to-
like swerving and he's like successful.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually clever.
and he's drunk.
Yeah.
That's very funny. I didn't realize
it's an
he was-
easy drive for him, you know?
I didn't realize that was real.
How long is that? I was thinking about this. It's probably like 10 hours.
I was
right?
thinking it's like 6 hours. That was my guess.
Couldn't a shark have gotten the body? What if it went the other way and not on the beach, just went into the ocean?
I think if you drop it in the right place, you know the tide is going to take it in.
Yeah, the
Yeah, I
right
get-
time.
What about riptides, though? They pull you under.
It's an 8-hour drive
You know what
to
I mean?
drive.
Like-
I guess
from-
the math.
There's so much.
There's got to be math.
There's so much that can go wrong.
So from London to Scotland, it's an 8.5-hour drive on the M6.
Aha.
So you could probably drive the whole country in like 12 hours,
Pretty quick, yeah.
tip to tip,
Something like that.
which is the Chicago way also, tip to tip.
I'm glad that's getting many callbacks.
It's good. But one thing about the brother of Montague, he was awarded the Lenin Peace Prize in 1959.
Oh, good.
Given
for
by
him.
the Soviet government to recipients whose work furthers the cause of socialism, primarily outside the USSR. So he was a legit spy.
Wow.
What a scumbag.
Yep. He's
You
a
normally
piece of
don't
garbage.
award your spies, though. I guess he was finished.
Well, it's 1959. He's probably like dead or older.
Yeah, he's probably
you
dead
know?
by then. Most
So-
of them didn't live long.
So, they put the body in the capsule. There's a bunch of love story stuff. We get Q Branch, another Bond reference.
yes.
And we get the Buzzsaw watch, another Bond reference.
Has no reason to be in the movie.
Other than it's
Look
Ian
how
Fleming,
cool
it's
it
Bond.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's holding a buzzsaw right
This is how he came up with it.
Yeah.
Is that a real thing?
The
A buzzsaw?
A Buzzsaw watch?
What
I mean,
for?
I guess.
Just to cut anything. Pocket knives work too. I don't know. I feel like a pocket knife actually would have more strength than a watch-sized buzzsaw.
Yeah.
So I don't understand the point of it, but I guess
It's
it's
there.
just the thing. It's like, look, this is a Bond thing.
Right, yeah.
Here's some cool tech that
We
spies
get
do.
it. But by that point in the movie, aren't you like, we get it? He wrote James Bond. We know.
Have you ever looked at like real spy tech? Either of you? Have you actually looked into this?
Oh, I love that.
Did you
I
go?
love
Have you
spy
been to
shit.
the Spy Museum?
I
in
did.
Manhattan?
I did.
I
You
went
did?
there.
What was
I went
that
there with
like?
my cousin.
It's cool, man.
Yeah,
I
it's
went. They had a
awesome.
Bond exhibit,
It's
so
really
like
cool.
I made sure to check it out.
But you only get like old tech. You don't get like new stuff.
I'd be more interested in the old stuff.
The old
I think.
stuff's cooler.
Anything in a shoe is cool, and the amount of stuff that they put in their shoes is
Your
wild.
shoe.
There was years ago.
Chopstick.
There was years ago a show on Comedy Central where like they spoke to. I think it was Insomniac
With Dave Attell.
with Dave Attell. And they went to a spy museum, and he was talking to the spy person, and all the gadgets were just things that went up your ass. And it was really funny.
That's great. What a,
Yeah.
what a great bit.
Yeah. So they need spies to deliver the papers to like make everything. right.
Sign the papers, old man.
And we meet Von Runner. Is that his name? What's Von Ron?
That
Oh,
sounds
Von
about
Rowan.
right.
Von Rowan.
The German spy.
And when we're introduced to
Well,
him,
he's the head. He's over in Berlin.
Berlin. but they're not sure if he's anti-Nazi.
In reality, he hated Hitler and was actually working to undermine the regime.
Yeah, apparently, like, he just made constant mistakes and fuck-ups.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in purpose, basically making things go wrong for the Nazis.
Right. And you had the guy in Spain, his name was Kuhlenthal, who was of Jewish descent, but he had been cleared as a good German.
Yeah, and he's with another one.
And
Yes.
he is a very eager to do anything to impress Hitler and then the Reich. So he was very eager to pass the information along once he had his hand. He's like, "Oh, this is my big break.
Exactly.
Let me
He's
get this in."
because he
without too much scrutiny.
because he's like, this will help me live. Because
Not even he'll live, just is going to make me look great.
but all it takes is one fuck up, and you're not a good German anymore.
Right.
So it's that desperation. But when we're introduced to
Now, I couldn't find, in researching this, there's a whole sequence in the movie in Spain with the two British agents and what they do. A man jerks off another man.
yeah.
I couldn't find anything about those guys if that happened. I don't think that was, I think that's fiction.
Well, Jonathan Frakes actually has something to say about it. It's fake. It's fiction. We made it up.
We made it up.
Made it up.
That's fake. That never happened.
That
I
was
want
one of the,
that like sound
Soundboard?
clip for the show. Can we get that?
We gotta
We
try.
need that. We need Jonathan Frakes saying that.
It's fake.
It's a fabrication.
It never happened.
Fabricated. We completely made it up.
Yeah, that's completely made up.
There was one scene that
Why
was like
did they need to put a guy jerking off a Spanish man?
I think they were trying to show
how far you have to
how
go.
far they're
Right.
going for the lengths of the spy.
Which is funny
because they show him seducing a hot chick moments earlier.
Yes.
Right.
And you're like, oh, being a spy's great. And then 5 minutes later, he has
Sometimes
to.
an old man needs a hand job.
Yeah.
in that scene when he's with
Chicago
he's on
way.
the bench.
It's the Chicago method of spy.
He's on the bench and he goes, I convinced him that I was a double agent, even though I'm a triple agent. And you're sitting there, what the fuck is a triple agent? What does that even mean?
It means you work for the
Like,
British.
I work for the British,
Who's working for the Germans? Who works for the British again?
who I convinced the Germans that I'm working for the British.
Who is actually working for the Spanish?
It's what does this even mean?
Oh,
It's spy
it's a
stuff.
goddamn corkscrew. You're chasing your own ass.
Yeah.
And then finally, the big humbug of the whole movie, which almost kind of makes it look stupid, is the German spy in London attacking Margaret Schroeder
Which
in her house.
never happened.
Yeah.
Completely fake.
It's so over the top. It's like, why did you put this in?
How did this spy get through our network? And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Right.
they put that in just for some added drama and
Yeah.
stakes at the end.
Yeah.
Well, they also put it in because she was like went along with it too.
Mm-hmm.
She like actually played a more vital role by meeting. That
It's like
person.
they had a fictional character attack a fictional character.
Yeah, exactly.
So
In the mo- in
it
the-
doesn't
How much
really,
does it really matter? Yeah.
affect the accuracy
and
of the
also,
movie.
Just
she's
shows
not
that
exactly
everyone's-
very cunning.
Everyone's a spy.
She gives up the story.
Well, what else is she going to do? They had her photo.
Die for her country. I mean,
Well, she's not a spy.
it's literally tens and tens of thousands of men, and you're willing to just tell this dude.
I thought she stuck with the story though.
She did. Well, he happened to be telling the truth, it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he claims to be a member of German underground that's anti-Hitler, anti-Nazi.
So Churchill approves the Sicily invasion.
Yes.
It's successful.
The German troops, I think 6 divisions are moved to Greece.
Yep.
Panzers, Luftwaffe, the whole shebang. They are nowhere to be found when the Allies land on Sicily. A invasion that was that they had predicted to take 90 days. They do it in 38. And after the fall of Sicily, Italy, Mussolini is ousted from power. The Germans are forced to invade Italy to just hold off the Allied onslaught. The Battle of Kursk happens, and it is curtains, more or less, for the Third Reich, especially come next summer.
Their
when
lines are so thin.
Overlord happens in June.
Yeah, then they're really fucked.
Then it's the end game. It's the final act.
It's a race to the end.
Now, if
Did we talk about the pathologist?
The pathologist. Who's the pathologist?
briefly,
The Spanish guy?
we briefly mentioned it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So the Spanish pathologist who's like looking at the body, and he just kind of like goes with them.
Oh, the coroner.
The coroner, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, we didn't bring him up.
We briefly mentioned it.
Yeah, he's better than they expected, and they're forced to like quickly shoo him away.
The
like
plan goes to shit.
We said that was all fiction.
Yeah.
I think that part may have happened with the coroner.
Oh yeah.
I believe that part is real.
Well, the higher up military guy was like, just stop. Like, we know it's clearly
he's drowned.
Yeah, he clearly drowned. We don't care how he died. And they're like, okay.
I think
It was such a. They could have expanded on that more, but it was so quick. It's like, all right, you know.
Also, this is the second time this movie has been told.
What do you mean?
Story has been told. You mean?
Yeah. So
People didn't know about this until like the 90s. Did you know that?
not all
It
the
only
details.
came out like 50 years ago.
Because in 1955, I believe there's a movie, The Man Who Wasn't There.
The man who wasn't there.
Yeah. The Man Who Never Was.
Who never
sorry.
was.
The Man Who Never Was, and it's, the same characters and all
Right.
this, and it's basically the story of what we just watched.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So, second time it's been told, but now there's more details.
Here's the postscript. The body of William Martin.
Well, his body
slash-
lies over the ocean.
His body lies over the sea.
Yep. Mm-hmm. What's the next line?
Something about, I don't know.
His body's for me.
My body is nothing if it don't have a bone. No doggy with no bone.
You know, I saw the Baha Men live.
I know. I wanted you to talk about it.
So I'm in Disney, and it comes to my attention that the Baha Men are about to do a show, and I'm like, I gotta watch this. Just for Who Let the Dogs Out.
Well, what else would you watch the Baha Men for?
They have other
Exactly.
songs.
I'll say this, I kind of enjoyed the show.
You did.
Yeah, the crowd, though, I loved.
You
It was
loved.
all like 50-year-old overweight white women.
Watching the Baha Men.
Dancing to the Baha
Talking
Men.
about ugly bitches.
Talking about Who Let the Dogs Out, and they're all dancing, and I'm like, you don't get it.
You're the dogs.
They're talking about you. But I got nervous because it was a 30-minute set, and we got to minute 30.
That's it?
Yeah, it was a quick show, and because they do like 2 or 3.
What are they going to play?
Exactly.
The Baha Men.
But we get to it's the last like 30 minutes. I'm like, they didn't do Who Let the Dogs Out. I go, this may be an epic troll job, and they just don't do it.
Did they do it?
They did it, and
Thank
then
God.
the place went
Yeah,
ape shit.
Thank God.
The place went ape shit.
Was there a
Everyone
full
felt the
crowd?
way.
It was pretty like as far as Disney
People
goes.
stop their day at the amusement park that they paid, a ton of money to go there to
200
watch
per
a
person.
30-minute Baha Man set.
Yeah, you get a snack, you sit down, you watch them.
There's so much happening all over those parks, though, that you can stop and you're gonna get entertained anywhere.
Yeah,
Would you have watched the Baha Man?
Dude, I stopped for a half hour to watch Muppets. Yeah, I'll stop for
Yeah,
the fucking
Muppets
Baha
were-
Man.
if you were with me and I was like, "Hey, we're in the park. The Baha Men are about to."
I mean,
do
if we're all there and we're watching the Baha, that'll be a
We're
blast.
watching the Baha
It's like you gotta watch it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
recorded it. It's like I can't believe I'm watching the Baha Men.
But yeah, this was a kind of a happy ending.
So what's the postscript?
Oh, I was going to say his body's buried in Spain,
Yep,
and finally
he's jerked off every day, but
years and decades after his initial burial, the British government placed his true name, the body's true name, on the gravestone and thanked him for his service.
yep,
essentially.
and he served as this person. Blah blah blah.
Uh-huh.
Nice. That's a good happy ending.
And we find out that Ewan and Iris got back together and stayed together until 1985.
In America, or did they go back to Britain?
In England. They stayed together in England. We find out that Jean Leslie married a vet of the Sicily invasion.
Ah, yes.
Charles Cholmondeley,
Someone who may or may not have been killed had the operation failed.
the mustache guy, can't pronounce his last name, was in M15 until 1952.
I believe it's MI5.
MI5?
Yeah.
Whatever.
How do you not know that?
You're a Bond person. You don't know if
It's
I can-
MI6 and
MI6.
MI5.
Yeah, you know
MI5's
what?
a real one.
Yeah, I'm just, writing.
That's inexcusable from you.
Yeah. See, if it was MI6, I would have.
disgusting.
I would have
He's
gotten it.
disgusted that you don't know that.
So I'll tell you a funny thing. Ewan is the first cousin once removed of Christopher Guest.
Christopher Guest. Christopher Guest. I know that. That's an actor.
Christopher Guest is
Oh, it's fucking Lenny
Lenny.
from Lenny and Squiggy.
No.
Oh,
What?
who's that?
Who's Lenny?
Lenny from Lenny and Squiggy. Isn't that Christopher
Lenny and
Guest?
Squiggy.
You know,
What's Lenny and
Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Christopher Guest.
Wait, that's Christopher Guest is Lenny?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No way. You're wrong.
Peter Pan, my arch and worthy opponent. No.
Laverne and Shirley.
Yes, Lenny and Squiggy. Christopher Guest.
Christopher Guest was Laverne. No way.
Yes, he's Lenny.
Dude, you're blowing my mind. I cannot believe that he is Lenny.
Are you?
I'm looking it up. I'm looking it
He's
up.
been spending a lot of time looking up something that was
Lenny
like
is Michael
a
McKean.
5-second thing.
Oh,
So you're wrong.
Christopher Guest is the fake documentary guy. Waiting for Guffman.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
He's not Lenny.
Who was he?
He's an actor. He's in a
Which
bunch
guy was he in Spinal Tap?
I completely. What was the relation of this? I completely forgot. by
I don't.
now.
Who cares? We're talking about
I'm
Christopher
so
Guest and
confused.
Lenny and Squiggy.
I'm so confused.
Who was he in Spinal Tap?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. I've only ever seen Spinal Tap once. He played Nigel
Tufnell.
Tufnell. And he was also the director of it, I believe, right?
No, that's Rob Reiner.
Oh, Rob Ryan directed. He started. So I guess after this is when Christopher Guest just was like, I just make.
I had to look at a picture of Christopher Guest.
He's like, I just make mockumentaries. Now he did Guffman.
Yeah.
He's the. I think he plays the gay guy in Waiting for Guffman. Corky St. Clair. He's talking about his My Dinner with Andre action. figure.
Yeah. Oh, he's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I always mix him up with the other guy, with Lenny.
That's Michael
McKean. Shit. No.
Yeah, you really confused me.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
And I was so adamant about it, too.
Yeah.
Confused you.
I have made an ass
Myself. That's Alec Baldwin.
That's Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin talking to his daughter on her voicemail.
Pre-murder.
Yes, before he killed a woman.
Pre-murder Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin's a piece of shit.
Oh, I meant to bring it up when we were talking about Invincible, but I forgot. I just want to say it real quick. Did you know Mark Wahlberg committed a hate crime?
No.
What?
Did you know this?
I know Mark Wahlberg was
No,
on a
but-
plane. Well, he said that
He would have stopped 9/11.
He would have stopped 9/11. Yeah.
Yeah. No, years ago, like before Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, he beat a random Asian man so bad in a random hate crime attack, the man is still blind.
No way.
Yeah.
Why isn't he in prison?
I think he did some time.
Was he
like,
underage?
Like a year.
Was he like?
Why did he do this?
He might have been underage.
No,
might
he
have been
was
17.
like an adult.
Is he just
He's an
filled with
adult?
hate? Why did he do this?
Wasn't he like 20 when he was in the Funky
Yeah,
Bunch?
he's a
If
young
this was
man.
before the Funky Bunch, he might have just been, you know.
I know a girl who lived on Golden.
The actor was charged for multiple racially motivated attacks as a teenager.
Holy shit.
Oh, multiple. As a teenager, so he
hold
was
on.
young.
Him
Yeah.
and Donnie going out, bopping.
Yeah.
We're the new kids on the block. You're the Jew kids on the block. And he just beat him
Punches
up.
him in the face.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so hold on. So
Wow, that makes him much less likable.
in 15 years old, he said kill some N-bombs and threw rocks at them. I'm looking for the one. Okay. He called one man a fucking S dash. I don't know what that would be.
Dash.
Yeah. Shit? No, right?
No, that's not racist.
I don't know.
I don't know.
How many dashes? 2 or 3?
2 dashes?
3 dashes. S 3 dashes.
I don't know. I guess we're not hateful enough.
No.
Yeah.
That's 3 dashes.
But he beat one Asian man with a 5-foot wooden stick and then was punching another one. He was charged with attempted murder.
Why are we telling everyone about Marky Mark being a piece of shit?
Yeah,
I
this
meant to
makes
bring
no
it up
sense.
before and I just forgot, you know.
From like episodes ago.
2 episodes ago. For us, it's like an hour. I meant to say it, you know, I wanted to blow Walt's mind and I forgot. But yeah,
Wow, I have a new way to look at the Wahlberg.
yeah.
Thank God.
So anytime you watch a Mark Wahlberg movie,
And you enjoy it.
you're supporting
You're a
man
bad person.
who blinded a random Asian man.
Wow.
God.
We're all awful because we watched Invincible.
So anyway, What do you rate this movie?
I thought this movie was good.
I liked it too.
Yeah.
What
I
do you
give it. I give it 4 stars
out of 10.
out of 5.
Well, you're weird.
Why does he do
Why
5?
do you do that? Do out of 10. It gives you a better.
Because I do
range.
letterbox.
Gives you a better
So
range.
it's, 8 out of 10.
He uses
Okay.
Celsius instead of Fahrenheit.
Yeah, 7.
I did 8 out of 10.
Back to back 7s from you.
Yes.
Okay. What could this?
It's not better than The Untouchables.
What could this have done to be an 8?
Remove the fake shit.
Okay.
That makes sense.
I don't dislike it. All right, you know what? I like the love story thing. Is good. I like that.
Yeah.
But they ruin it with the random German spy attack at the end, which makes no sense.
Did you watch it with your wife?
No, I watched it alone
Okay.
this morning. No, yesterday. I watched it yesterday.
Do you think that at the end, the German spy thing, if she would have died, it would have made a better story? Like,
No, because
she
then
was a
it would have been
casualty?
even more ridiculous. She's a
Yeah.
real person.
I'm not talking about from the real perspective, just the movie perspective.
No,
Like, would that have made
I
it?
didn't want to see her die. I liked her.
Right, but you think it would have hit harder to be like, this is another casualty of the spy war?
No, because he ended up being like a good guy.
You think that. You assume it. You don't know.
No, you pretty much say it. They pretty much.
They say they're not sure.
They didn't say it.
They didn't say it. They said
They
they're not
definitely
sure.
didn't say it.
Definitely.
You're gonna tell me that they definitely didn't say it.
They didn't say it.
They definitely didn't say it.
What did you give this out of a? You give 4 to 5?
Yeah, I gave it a 4 out of 5.
All right. 8 out of 10.
When you definitely didn't say it.
Yeah. So, Mincemeat. What a movie.
did it. We did it.
did
It's
it.
good.
The World War II seal is broken.
Now we can do real ones.
Now the floodgates open up.
Well, the next month.
I want to do Bridge on the River Kwai.
Well, no, next month we have to do Halloween stuff.
yeah, the next month is all horror.
Yeah.
So buckle up, buckaroos, because we're getting spooky next month.
Yay.
How much horror can we get that's actually real, though?
A lot.
I know what he's picking.
I'm gonna pick Missing 411. I've been into these Missing 411 things recently. You know about this?
No.
I thought you were going to do the Mothman.
I referenced the Mothman today.
That's
but
what I'm
no,
saying.
I wanted to do Amityville, but you know what? It's not the time to talk about this. We have a pick episode to do that.
Yeah.
That's true. Let's sign it out then.
No, I want to talk about the Missing 411. That
Yeah,
I've been
what is
into.
it, real quick?
All right, so there is a guy. He's a former police officer.
He's 411 pounds.
No,
He can't leave his bed.
No,
They're missing him. Because why isn't he showing up to work?
he went to like a national park on vacation. I don't know which
Okay.
one. And while he was there was an investigation going on about missing person in the park. So he decided, being a former law enforcement, to help out. And as he looked into this, he realized that something like thousands of people over the years have disappeared in America's national parks under mysterious circumstances. So he started connecting the dots with a lot of this. And some would say under supernatural circumstances in some cases. And he's written a series of books, and there are documentaries that he's produced about some of the more bizarre cases.
Okay.
And I've been like getting into this stuff a little bit, like with cryptids, and you know what cryptids are?
I love cryptids.
Yeah,
Do you know about the Jersey one?
the Jersey Devil.
There's a Jersey Devil, but do you know about the one in Lake Hopatcong?
No,
Hoppy.
yeah, the Champ. You know about Champ?
Probably
He's
could've guessed
based
that.
Champy and Hoppy are the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So is a Loch Ness monster.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know the Jersey Devil. Joseph Bonaparte claimed to have hunted the Jersey Devil.
Really?
Yeah,
He thinks he got him?
Napoleon's brother.
Does he say he got him?
I don't think he said he got him, but
Yeah.
he saw it.
He can't get him.
You can't get the Jersey
No,
Devil.
he's too good.
Philly has one.
Yeah, what do they got?
Gritty.
I think we'll end it there.
Yeah. I
Comes
think
at
that's-
night. Comes at night to your room.
I was going to make a shirt, like an anti-flyer shirt with Gritty on it, and it was going to have a picture of Gritty, and under it was going to say soon, and on the right it was going to have the Stanley Cup, and it was going to say never.
Who is Gritty? What is he?
He's their mascot.
Yeah, I know who he is. I should say, what is he?
He's an orange thing. He's the embodiment of
The
Philadelphia.
embodiment of horror. Here you go.
There he is. Orange, like the movie Invincible.
Yep.
It looks like he's on crack.
All right, so let's sign out, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for listening again.
All right, want to give a thank you to Tell 'em Steve Dave for letting us record in the studios. Thanks to Walt. Please follow the show on all social media. Review History Pod on Twitter. Email us, reviewinghistorypod@gmail.com. Love to hear from you. Follow all of us on Letterboxd. Me personally on Letterboxd. I review every single movie I watch. Give us a follow at Brian Rupert, BrianRuppert. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time with our spooky pick episode. Bye.
I am the P-Man!